Charles Dickens, Walter Scott, Nathaniel Hawthorne, Horace Walpole, Thomas Hardy, Wilkie Collins, and H.G. Wells. These are the famous novelists of 18th century, which also gave their literary work to the society. The 20th century is marked by modern topics and innovative style. Now let's see which author contributed in 20th century. I repeat, H.G. Wells. In the 20th century is marked by modern topics and innovative styles and techniques and widened angles of the views of novelists like E.M. Forster, James Joyce, Joseph Conrad, Henry James, George Orwell, Animal Farms. You must have heard about this novel, which is written by George Orwell. Graham Greene, D.H. Lawrence, Sons and Lovers. Snake, these are the famous literary work done by D.H. Lawrence. William Golding and Anthony Burgess. These are the novelists of 20th century who contributed their work in this period. They widen the circumference of the genre by writing political, social, psychological, and other modern issues in their novels. There are immigrant authors like Salman Rushdie, V.S. Naipaul, and Kazuko Ishiguro, and many others. Now this is new term, students. Immigrant. Who are the immigrant authors? Immigrant authors means those people permanently settled in foreign country. That is Salman Rushdie. Then V.S. Naipaul, who is from Trinidad, Salman Rushdie from India itself, and Kazuo Ishiguro, who is from Japan. But now they settled in US and foreign countries, and that is why they are known as immigrant authors. The contribution of women novelists. Now students, this passage is going to tell information how did women novelists contributed for English literature. The history of English novel, not only going to learn only males, even there are famous female novelists who contributed their literary work for English literature. Let's see. The contribution of women novelists to this great pageant cannot be neglected. Pageant means a public entertainment performed by people to elaborate. The Novel of Manners, Evelina by Frances Burney. Now Evelina, this is the name of the novel and which is based on the Novel of Manners. There is a psychological flow. It is given there and which was written by Frances Burney. Gothic novels by Anne Radcliffe. Gothic horror novel having supernatural elements, which is written by Anne Radcliffe, a novel based on science of the age. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Frankenstein, this is scientific novel in which is written by a female novelist, that is Mary Shelley, are landmark novels. There are many female novelists exist, but we are going to learn only few women novelists who contributed, and those are only famous novelists which is given in this lesson only. I repeat again. Evelina by Frances Burney, Anne Radcliffe, Gothic novel she wrote. Then scientific novel, that is Frankenstein, name of the novel Frankenstein, which is written by Mary Shelley. Those are the landmarks novels. Jane Austen has been ruling over the minds of the people through her novel. John Austen wrote Pride and Prejudice, her famous literary work. Bronte sisters Emily Charlotte have created their own place by their incomparable works, The Wuthering Heights and Jane Eyre. Emily sisters, Emily Bronte and Charlotte Bronte. These Emily sisters had contributed for English literature. They wrote The Wuthering Height and Jane Eyre. Many Mary Ann Evans alias George Eliot. Actually, you might confuse George Eliot as a male, but George Eliot is not a male novelist. That is female novelist. That is Mary Ann Evans. Mary Ann Evans penned down her literary work as a George Eliot because those days women were neglected and women were not allowed to write. And that is why here Mary Evans took the name George Eliot and tried to contribute it, tried to pen down her imagination through her novel. Mary Ann Evans alias George Eliot wrote the novels reflecting psychological insights. Virginia Woolf is the pioneer of the stream of consciousness technique in English novel. Virginia Woolf, another novelist, and she is famous for stream of consciousness. We are going to learn all this term, what is gothic novel, what is epistolary, then scientific. We are going to learn types of novel. That time we will learn these terms again. Virginia Woolf is the pioneer of the stream of consciousness technique in English novel. Agatha Christie created her own place by writing many novels based on crime. Agatha Christie. Have you heard about this name? Agatha Christie, a famous novelist, and her novels are based on crime, suspense, thriller. Hercule Poirot and Miss Marple are the evergreen detective created by her. Agatha Christie's famous detective. I repeat again, name of those two characters which are created by Agatha Christie. Miss Marple and Harper. Sorry. Hercule Poirot. Hercule Poirot and Miss Marple are these two evergreen detective which are created by Agatha Christie. Harper Lee, Margaret Atwood, Toni Morrison, and Alice Walker have elevated the tradition further to prosperity. Another women novelist who also contributed their work for English novel. Dear students, we learn information about novel, definition of novel. We learn famous work done by English novelist, male actually. Then we learn female novelist, how and what kind of contribution had been given by female novelist. Now we are going to start contribution by Indian writer, Indian author to English literature. Indian English is also known as the dialect of English language, and nowadays world has recognized Indian literature too. Let's see information about Indian authors. Indian scenario. Rajamoun's Wife. This is the first Indian novel which is written by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay in 1864, and even it was serialized as The Indian Field. Was the first novel in English literature by an Indian. Rajamoun's Wife, which is written in 1864. This is the first Indian novel written by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay in 1864. Student, just try to remember this name of the author and the name of the book. Definitely there will be question, match the pair. So you have to answer it correctly. The period after that is marked by few more novels written by Indian writers. These novels bore either nationalistic virtues or social issues as their main framework. Mulkraj Anand, R.K. Narayan and Raja Rao. These are the major trio. Mulkraj Anand, R.K. Narayan and Raja Rao are known as major Indian novelists who contributed for Indian English. Mulkraj Anand, R.K. Narayan and Raja Rao were the major trio who prevailed in the period after that. Novelists like Anita Desai, Nayantara Sehgal and Arun Joshi and Manohar Malgaonkar changed the current Indian English novel through their work. Anita Desai, Arun Joshi, they tried to contribute their work for Indian English and they tried to change scene in novel. Amitav Ghosh, Vikram Seth and Upamanyu Chatterjee ameliorated means make better, improvement. Amitav Ghosh and Vikram Seth and Upamanyu Chatterjee tried to improve the version of Indian English novel. The Indian novel in English by adding new features to it. Recent years have witnessed the dazzling performance by Indian novelists like Salman Rushdie, Arvind Adiga, who received prize for his book, that is The White Tiger. Arundhati Roy, The God of Small Things. Then Kiran Desai, The Inheritance of Loss, written by Kiran Desai. And Kiran Nagarkar, The Tradition of Indian English Novels, has undergone a virtual change since its birth and has undoubtedly very bright future. Students, in this passage we learn contribution done by Indian novelists like R.K. Narayan, Raja Rao, Mulkraj Anand, then Arun Joshi, Kiran Desai, Arundhati Roy, Amitav Ghosh. So try to remember these names, who are the Indian authors and their famous contribution for Indian English. Now let's start next concept, that is novella and novel. Now we are going to distinguish between novella and novel. Novel is a lengthy, long narrative write up, and novella compared to novel, little bit short. Let's see. A novella, a word originated from the Italian word novelle. So novella word originally it is in Italian word, that is novella, novelle, and is a type of prose fiction which is shorter than a full length novel and longer than short stories. It is a well structured yet short narrative, often satiristic and realistic in tone. It usually focuses on one incident or issue with one or two main characters and take place at the single tradition. Some of the famous novellas in English are. Students, now we discuss what is novella.